Describe Clive Davis for me. What kind of guy is Clive?
Well, he was very, very interesting and good to work for and to work with. He had a very strong ego, but so what? Because he was good. He also was a teaching kind of an executive, and he was not afraid to take a chance. He also would give one the liberty to take chances, to go out on that limb. I know with me, when I was first hired, he gave me the green light on everything. I had no difficulty at all. So it's very good and interesting to work with him. And being the record man that he is, it was just a good experience to work with him, work beside him, or to work along with him.
What's he particularly good at? Why has he been so successful, do you think?
Well, I think he had a good ear for finding good records. He had a talent for pairing an artist with the right producer and the right songs.
Great. He commissioned is that right, the Harvard Business Report?
Yes.
So tell me what that was and why it was needed and why he commissioned it.
Well, there was a fella, an employee at CBS Records. His name was Larry Isaacson. And Larry was a graduate of the Harvard B School. And Larry was trying to make points. At that particular time, CBS Records did not have a president. Clive Davis was the president of CBS Group, but CBS Records didn't have a president. So Larry Isaacson was vying for that position. So he came up with this concept, this idea, and sell Clive Davis and Bruce Lundvall on this idea for the Harvard B School to do this study on the soul music environment of black music. And he sold them on the idea. I, at the time, was heading the black music division, so I became the liaison between the students at Harvard and this report. I supplied them with all of the data. I gave them the radio stations to check throughout the country. I suggested the retail outlets for them to check throughout the country. I suggested the black newspapers to check throughout the country. So this is what they did research on, and this is what they came back with their report on.
And what did they conclude?
Well, they conclude, which we already knew from the standpoint of the black employees there in the black music division, we already had concluded that there is a very large market out there for black music. We were aware, and they concluded that there is a lot of money to be made. The only thing, they need more exposure, they need much better contracts, they need bigger budgets. They included all of those things in that report. And as a matter of fact, it has been more than 40 years since that report was released, but it had never been exposed to the public. And I have just recently released that report, the Harvard report, in the form of a book that is available right now for sale. The second thing that they suggested, that through the Special Markets Division, we should have an A&R person devoted exclusively to black music. They didn't do that. So those are two key elements that they didn't follow. But the purpose, it still was accomplished regardless.
Why didn't they do it?
Well, you start thinking in terms of a huge budget. And again, the racism in this country at that particular time, which probably still exists right now, to commit these kinds of monies to a black individual as a department head, they just didn't do it. And secondly, A&R, that area, that position is guarded. We just don't do that. We don't allow black guys or women to do that. So consequently, it may be a black individual in that studio that's actually producing that record. But there is a white guy there that's fronting it. That happens in a lot of these.
The Black Music Division, when was this set up and why, and how did you end up being involved?
I was hired by CBS in November of '71. And prior to that, I had spent the past year in Chicago as the head of the Black Music Division at CBS Records. And I got this call from Clive Davis and Bruce Lundvall. And you get a call from Clive Davis, now you stop everything. I went in, flew into New York, and I sat down with them. And I determined that they were serious about what they were doing. that I made the decision that I will resign from Mercury Records and I will join CBS Records. And it was my assignment to form a black marketing division. That's what it was called at that particular time. That was the very beginning of it for all of your major record labels. I formed a black marketing division, and I started out with 12 individuals. As a matter of fact, the book that I have out right now, the Harvard Report, it talks about those 12 individuals that started at the very beginning. Now, our mission was to penetrate and to dominate the black music business. And in a very, very short time, we did it. CBS started out with less than 6 black acts. And at the demise of the black music marketing division, they had more than 300 black acts. So it was most successful.
What were the sort of acts that you were signing and why?
Well, I would say the first major signing was a deal that was made with Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff with Philadelphia International. And of course, they started out with the OGs, the Backstabbers. And then behind that came Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, if you don't know me by now. And then behind that came Billy Paul, Me and Mrs. Jones. And then the hits just kept coming and coming and coming. And one of the interesting projects that I really enjoyed working on was that we did the Soul Train theme, the TSOP, the sound of Philadelphia. Well, what happened there? Don Cornelius really did not know Kenny Gamble, but Don and I were very, very good friends from our Chicago days. He flew into New York, and he and I got together, and we took a train down to Philadelphia, and I paired him with Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff, and I took off. And they in turn came up with that tune, TSOP, the sound of Philadelphia, which became the Soul Train theme. Now, basically it was a Soul Train theme, but it wasn't named that. Kenny Gamble suggested to Don, why don't we call this the Soul Train theme? But Don Cornelius said, no, I'm not going to do that. So consequently, later on, he wished that he had, because it became so successful, the Soul Train theme. But that's the way that came about. And then behind them came the Ozzy Brothers. They came over with that mighty machine. And again, hit after hit after hit. And then, of course, eventually that led on to not the acquisition of it, but the deal that was made with Stax Records for distribution. So, I mean, the hits just kept coming. Disco Lady with Johnny Taylor. The hits just kept coming